So hi you guys, I just wanted to explain to you my sudden and rather abrupt conversion, or appreciation for Islam. This is not to meet guys, it is not to bed brown guys or whatever people say, which is so rude and Islamophobic. I'm just going for modesty. My nails are modest, I keep modesty in my own room. That's why Pete's not allowed in, unless I'm drunk and want to make out with him. And it's a new me. It's a different me. You know, I'm married now, so you're just gonna see a more modest Chantal, pretty much.
What are you doing?
Just explaining my, change in feelings about religion.
Oh,
I think that's our show. Wait, what? He converted to Catholicism. Well, thank you, VIBs. Hey, did I ever show you guys my favorite rosary? You like short hair? I can have short hair. You like blondes? I can be blonde. Hyper. I'm here, and you're gonna get it. Eurobees and shit. Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Marc's around, say hi Marc.
hey guys!
And this is Smokey Steve and Marc, either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, we got some coffee, powdered vanilla, hazelnut, something or other. Spilled half of it on my notes, so we'll see if I got off track. So thank y'all for being here, I hope you're all well, I hope everyone is safe, look after yourselves, look after each other. It is good to be back. It is good to be seen. I've had some opinions about what's been going on with her since last we checked in, which was about 5 to 6 weeks ago, maybe. In the interim, Marc and I had a real wedding and really got married, as opposed to, trolling. So we were away for that. Thank you guys who watched and showed up, and it was a wonderful gift to us to have that from the channel and from the viewers. So today we can't pick up where we left off, because I left off with her weeks ago. When I left off with her, she was still banging that married guy 4 times a day and didn't care. So it's quite a different picture, the Chantal now that we had versus then. Now, in anybody's defense who's a reactor, nothing is really too new with Chantal. Not farther back than 6 weeks, because she recycles her old manipulations, gaslighting, all that stuff back to back to back. And she's said so far that she's going to be a little bit... So she'll sound a little like a hypocrite as of late because she's trying to maintain her privacy, i.e. she's lying up, down, left, right, and center about everywhere she's been so that she can say, I never said that. I never said we were married. I just said we were married, but I made hand motions. So at any rate, we're going to touch on, I have a little more about her wearing the hijab and other garbs that she's wearing that are, for another faith tradition. What else we got here? Her married? She's married. You guys know what I mean. No, they don't, because you said married and you're not. So the truth and a lie are not the same thing, but well, her trip to Kuwait. I was dead ass 100% wrong. She went. I wasn't sharing too much of that because I wasn't making videos, but no way in hell I thought she'd go to Kuwait. Ever. And she's there. So, well, at least a camera with pictures of her is being shown as being in Kuwait. So... And then I want to talk about the fallout, because all of this will invariably fall apart for her, because that's how her life goes. It falls apart by her own hand, and she blames everyone else for it happening. So she's a victim of her own stupid choices. That's where the pity leads, That's where you don't care as much. So, to begin, the hijab and other things. Now, I did do a short while we were away. 57 seconds of me bitching about her wearing the hijab, and then it's escalated to where she's wearing more and more modest garments where pretty much all you see is her eyes. She showed up for Canadian Thanksgiving. Okay, that was a little while back, and she's all in. This the whole everything, as though she was actually practicing. We all know she's not. And that she'll fib for any reason, even if there's no reason to. But her claims of modesty may not be all that they seem, or might not be as fixed a belief as I think she sees. It's kind of discouraged for women who are, I thought Chantal was Catholic, Christian. Catholicism specifically has opinions about marrying Catholic women, especially marrying Muslim men. That's out of my depth. Religious rules are what they are. They differ religion to religion. So that's not so much it. It's the faking. It's the putting on the attire as a Western white woman who's got a few dollars, putting it on and then acting like she's oppressed in some way. It's not the same, okay? You can take all that off and you're a white woman again. You don't, and that's not, it shouldn't be treated as a costume. It just shouldn't be. She's only doing it for show, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it was to show Natter something or another. She doesn't get over things. She stays bitter. And I don't know if she's had a comfortable resolution to this. I thought, though I don't know, that some of this conversion on her part, or this kind of dabbling in a faith, like you would try out a new rock music or a new scene to see if it fits. None of this would be going on if she wasn't trying to find gentlemen who were of that faith. It's an odd preference, especially not because people don't like each other, but because she is such an obnoxious, outspoken person, at least online. And that her being modest, like, where does farting come in with modesty? She can't hold it in that long. She can't. It's impossible for her to commit to anything, including a new faith, including a new guy. You know, she's cheated on everybody. And then she gets upset if the guy who's, wants to have another wife or wants to live somewhere else, and she has rules about how she can conduct herself halfway across the world from a guy she's never met. That's stupid, and it's stupid. I'm sorry. So yeah, while Mark and I were planning our wedding, after being together for 8 years, she decided within a couple days she was in love, and within a couple weeks she was going to be married and traveling. I don't know what romantic idea she had about how all this is going. But I suspect that even though I was surprised by the fact that she went to Kuwait, I was surprised when she went to Cuba. What was not surprising was her sitting in the resort with a bunch of Westerners, eating her way through the buffet, and then her last night in Cuba getting so wasted that she undid herself, basically said to everyone watching, I will manipulate the hell out of you and you'll love me tomorrow, paraphrasing. She's not wrong. There's still people who pay for the little icons for no live chats, no access to her, and they pay for it. They want to support the channel. We can throw our money wherever we want, obviously. Chantal's an example of that. But it feels scammy, because it feels like you're going to pay this and I'm going to give you that. There's been a change, guys. You're going to pay this and I'm going to give you nothing.
What?
So that sounds fair, right? Well, to her, probably does. So, I don't know. If karma's a thing, she's fucked. She's fucked. So moving forward. Need the glasses now. I got new glasses in the time I was away too. The idea that she's married, or she's throwing around in videos as a married woman, married women do this. Now, she hasn't, as far as anyone knows, married him via Zoom or something like that. But she's acting or alleging that she's practicing this modesty out of respect for her, not husband, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I have no more trust in her just because she went to Kuwait. When you weigh that against her other lies, all of the other lies that she goes through, it's really not unreasonable to assume that she was going to make it up. She makes up all sorts of other stuff that she's going to do. Talking about, I don't want to dig right back in on the modesty, but the nails, she had those fucking claws on before and they're off. Long eyelashes and a nose ring do not speak modesty to me. That's it. I can appreciate she wants to cover everything but her eyes because they're probably one of the nicer parts of her body. And then dressing those up is good, but I don't think modest Muslim women who are of that faith, and that part of the faith which has, you covering yourself up, she's a pig in slop because that's all she has to show. Those kind of garments aren't always flattering, but they do hide a lot, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. Currently, she's in Kuwait, as far as we know. It's Saturday afternoon, and she's there. And we've also received word there's going to be something big tomorrow is going to be announced. So she's married. She's moving. She's going to leave Pete's and her cats left to die. Left them a credit card with $200 limit on it. Said, charge food. I'll be back. I'm going to go play, teenage and just travel around the world. It's not a bad thing. I have a very close friend who I went to grade school with, who was at the wedding. And his whole life is on the road. He's from the same small town I am, but lived in New York, moved to London, does a lot of traveling. When he goes out to travel places, it's maybe 2 days work, 1 day play in the middle. And all sorts of things he'll send pictures up on Facebook, where he ate, stuff they saw, what they saw in their walk. Even if him and his partner just go to like the countryside to go look at stuff. There's still photographs, discussion, dinner afterwards, that kind of thing. They travel and document their travel very differently. Chantal either hasn't taken any pictures of Salah, who's the gentleman, who she says it's Islamophobic to make fun of his name. Didi Doodoo Head. We've made up names for people before, so shut up. Didi Doodoo Head. Anyway. Choosing the new religion to meet men, or to hope to get married, and so changing your faith system to that. One person can be appreciative of another culture and respectful of it. That's a good thing to shoot for. But treating it like a costume that you're just going to try on and see if it works, to try to get some of the guys that she pursues, which generally speak no English, are broke, don't live in the country, and need a way to get in, and lo and behold, she can get married to them. A marriage of convenience? His, not hers, I would say. He's going to be expecting very different things from Chantal than she's going to be able to provide. She doesn't understand that having a voice isn't always encouraged for a woman in certain parts of the world, within certain cultures, faith traditions, go left to right. And it's not just the Middle East. It's other parts of the world where the expectations of the roles of men and women are different. She barely fills any role as a woman, even as a kept woman, even as a wealthy woman. Nothing. I mean, 6 weeks ago when we were here, she was fully bald, belly out, showing off the things that bounce between her thighs, which most women, I think, probably don't have. She doesn't take very good care of herself. Like, none of it. None of it. I think she thinks, and she believes, what she said, is that Salah's going to treat her like a queen and going to whip her into shape and eat good food. Natter, part 2. This was all the same crap initially that she liked. Feed me. Feed me. And that was it. Now, since we haven't seen the guy, it's possible that while she's there now, they can't be photographed together, or he won't be photographed with her, perhaps, because he doesn't want that leaking all over the place. Nothing says I claim you like no videos of the two of us together at all. Certainly not married. You know what I mean? And if he loved her so much, why didn't he fly to Canada to visit? She went there. So it's not devotion, it's desperation, my perspective. She'll throw anything she can at a man to try to get him, if that means playing costume with religious garments, flying halfway around the world to meet a guy you barely know. That's not cute. That's not a romance. That's, you love me for me? Great. Let me change everything about myself so I can try to be a little more likable to you. Didn't work with Natter. She's going to try with this guy. There's red flags and warning signs. She said she missed them with Natter, but that they're not here now because this is the real deal. This is why I think it's just going to blow up at some point. I mean, first, it invariably does. Every one of her stories falls through. Now I have to say, entitlement of her kind isn't cute. I said she's a Western white woman. She only has to deal with Islamophobia if she shows that to the world. And to frame it and have discussions about those choices like they are well thought out decisions is ridiculous. It was very quick. I suspect it was a very quick thought of, well, if I don't look like a Muslim, I'm not going to meet a Muslim guy to marry, so I'll just put the clothes on and see. Like it's a costume. Like it's, I don't know. It's not that I'm not like knocking, defending anything about any faith, but if you're going to throw yourself into it, you know, if you're in the club, you play by the rules. Eyelashes. So, the Modesty, again, is not really working for her. She was like very shamelessly fucking a married guy not that long ago. Not that people don't change, or that we can all decide any one day to start over and do something else. But this isn't a new something else. This is plain old Chantal living her life differently. And this, we've watched with Natter, how Chantal behaves in a relationship. I know. She was only as abused as the pity would come. Was he mean to her? Was he yelling at her? Yeah. Did he put a hand on her? Natter? I believe it. I wasn't there, but I would say sure, he probably did. And there's been people who I've seen in comments saying the only reason to ever be jealous of Natter is because he's the one who got to smack her straight across the face. That's somewhere between not a funny joke and half true, probably. I don't know. Her life, not mine. What's modest about getting drunk and high and trying to sleep with the guy that you're not now allowing to live in your room? So Pete's can't come in because Sala wouldn't like it. He's been in and out of her room for the years they've lived there, and all of a sudden now she's taken orders from a guy she's known for 3 weeks and put her best friend, who is home taking care of her sick cats now, just hanging out. She probably thinks it's the least he can do since he doesn't have much money coming in, or any maybe at the moment, so the least he can do is be her slave and do whatever her bidding is around the house, because she'll fire back with, I pay all the bills. You know, because she's not spiteful or anything. So, yes, Chantal, of course we're allowed to make our decisions, our own decisions. And people change faiths, and sometimes they do it for marriage. But it's usually more well thought out, as are most of her plans. I'm going to be vegan. I'm going to open a dispensary. I'm going to start a restaurant. I'm going to, travel bees. I'm going to do this, do that. She's traveled twice. A lot of us have been on airplanes. It's a bigger challenge for her. Well, she says it's not, that she can fitness by 2, because it's not comfortable to sit next to someone who's that big. It's not. They spill over into your seat. That's not a Chantal thing. That's a big person flying thing. It can be a matter of safety and comfort to not have to share 3 seats with one, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So she's, of course allowed to make decisions, good or bad. We all have the right to fail if we want to go out and try something new. But wearing a hijab is not trying something new. If I decided I like Christian guys, I'm not a practicing Christian, but I better dress like the part so they'll think I'm devout and give me a second glance. And so I cover myself in crucifixes and this, and cover my head also because certain Christian traditions think that that's modesty. And all of a sudden, because the guy I like is Christian, I convert. If I came on here all of a sudden, like, blessed be the name of the Lord, let's read from the King James Version. The reason it doesn't sound like me is because it isn't me. That's not how I would roll. She rolls whichever way the dude's blowing. And she's still in the unfortunate position that if she didn't have money and resources, no one would date her. So I think a lot of us are aware that arranged marriages or marriages just put together aren't necessarily based on love. Certainly, being married and living with a partner who it was all transactional, and not emotional transaction, but financial transaction. I would be, and it's very heavy-sided going one way. If he paid for Kuwait, maybe they can do another Natter. That's probably the best you can hope for at the moment. Anyone who would ditch their best friend, put boundaries up after making out with them like a month or 2 earlier when you're drunk, that manipulates that person, which would be Pete's. And it doesn't speak modesty to me. And modesty is not just for people who cover up their body. It's not everyone's cup of tea either. Some people just live out loud. Chantal's one of those people that lives out loud, says what she wants. She's far too obnoxious to say modest at all. She's probably still saying that this bad decision is a function of her last abusive relationship. So now she's damaged and cannot look for better. Maybe can't pay for better. I don't know. So, anyway. And she says, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because she's trying to keep some of this, the travel to Kuwait, private. So she's not showing too much. She's on the community board. She has all the time in the world to sit in a country halfway around the world from us and sit in her room and put up pictures or go down to the place. It looks like a resort and it looks like Jamaica. It's a bunch of white Western travelers hanging out. She had a tour guide. You know, there was other people who were taking her around. There is a picture of her at the airport walking, but that could be the guy holding the sign for taxi, or taking a tour or something else. I suspect, though, I don't know, that Solid didn't pick her up at the airport. She said very little to say about him, and now she seems to be killing some time on her own, going out walking at night, and then eating, and that's pretty much it. So we'll see what her big news is. Whatever it is, 3 months, it won't be a big deal. Her idea of big news is I'm eating differently. You know what I mean? Or she got a nashi. That's the big news. That's what people care about. So she's in Kuwait, barring grand conspiracy. And we'll see what comes back. There are people alleging she's not there. Something's happening. I don't know. I like talking about Chantal. I like keeping up with her life. It brings up a lot of interesting points. I've made a lot of the same desperate life decisions that she has. You know, meet a guy, I don't have a life, so I'll have yours, and it bleeds the person dry because I wasn't a full individual at the time that I met the person and decided to start the relationship. Make no mistake, I know a little about this kind of thing. Mark and I met in rehab. Terrible place to meet, but we were both very sick and we're getting help. And then about 2 years later, after we got our respective shit together, is when we started talking again. And then it was a couple years after that we started dating. I come from a family of be friends first. My mother loved long engagements. I think my sister and brother, theirs were very long. And it just worked out differently. Like I don't know. I'm not, as usual, optimistic that she's actually going to follow through with any of this. It'll be his fault. It'll be our fault. It's going to be reactors and VIBs. Because we just want to see her hurt. We just want to see her fail. I don't feel bad for not supporting what she's doing right now. And she doesn't need my support, approval, or consent. I'm nobody. I'm a guy on YouTube with a new background. That Mark did. And she can, of course, live her life whatever she wants. But whatever she chooses to put on YouTube is fair game. It is not Islamophobia just because she decided she's Muslim this week. It's not. There are very concrete cases of Islamophobia documented, especially post 9/11. It got really a lot worse in the United States. But again, she has the privilege of taking it off. How is that different than, I don't know. I don't want to say blackface. That seems extreme. But putting yourself out to the world as someone as you're not and saying that you're being discriminated against, perhaps, when you can remove the things that you're being discriminated for and not have to deal with it. I'm not suggesting all Muslim folks can take off all their stuff and be free and modest. I understand culturally, historically, these things are not possible, certainly not happening in the present moment. But she has an option that other folks don't, which is, I don't look the part if I take all my stuff off. So she wears it for attention, not to be modest. It's the opposite of modest. She wants people to look. Big fat white woman coming through the airport. Same kind of thing. So, Fallout. The last thing I want to talk about is Fallout, because this will fall apart. This invariably will fall apart. Every other choice she's made has fallen apart. Like I said, the vegan thing, gonna open a dispensary. What else did she have that she went like half-assed with? Moving to a mansion. All of a sudden, that's gone. I was gonna move to a mansion, but now we can't. Okay, so you left the country, but Pizza's still home. So how is he managing? She's not his mother, but if you're gonna take that much control over someone's life as to say, get out of my room, the new guy's Muslim. It's sad. If any one of my friends did that to me after being a friend for so long, I'd feel like betrayed, pretty much.
You think?
I'd feel betrayed and then left behind. And it's not people saying Chantal is a mother to him. She treats him like her child. That's why that perception is there. Pete's go down. P, can you go get my food? P, can you answer the door? Can you get me a fork? Can you bring up the pickles? can you get this KFC from out of my desk drawer and bring it downstairs? No better way. Put it on the deck. Much better. This kind of crap from her can only be hid for so long. Deleting a bunch of videos doesn't delete people's perception of what's going on. And invariably, she'll be making more videos in the next couple weeks that she will probably delete in about 4 months when she realizes, well, it's not, you know. I gotta say, though, I mean, for all I've just said and all I've reiterated and perhaps talked in circles about, her channel's growing. She got like another 800 to 1,000 subs up. She's got views on some of her videos back up over 25, 30,000. This is very different with the live streams. She was banking on, at the time, I think, super chats. And not much else, because her videos were getting demonetized, so all she would get was super chats or nothing. And that's not the case right now. Unfortunately for us, she's going to be earning her money via real estate at this point. And she's very matter-of-fact about, this is how I'm going to do it now, so I don't need to do this. What the fuck does she know about that? Nothing. She'll Google something, read a top 10 list, start using all the words, and then talk to us like we're idiots. That's how she does. And then when it's exposed later that she didn't know what the hell she was talking about, she'll be, oh, I'm supposed to be perfect? It's new to me. I don't know all the details. You're not supposed to be perfect, but good would be a, you know, somewhere to shoot, or at least non-offensive and unselfish. So that all being said, let's get a bit of another perspective, some more insight on this. Mark!
Yeah.
Can you come here, please?
Yes, I can.
He's been eavesdropping, I'm sure. So.
I have been eavesdropping a little bit.
You guys remember Mark?
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Married man here.
Didn't even have to go to Kuwait to do it.
No, we didn't.
No.
And more importantly, we did it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just wanted to get kind of your take. You've contributed some different stuff to the channel. Drug and alcohol information, some Twitter updates. Where are you at now with your impression of what's going on, and what do you think you'd want to do in the future, maybe?
Well, I purposely, like, for those few weeks, like, you know, around the wedding, I purposely didn't watch her at all. It was so nice not having that bit of madness in our lives for a little bit. It really was. It was. And having our Saturdays free.
It was nice. I haven't had a Saturday off in 2 years,
you
know.
But I did get caught up, and wow, I didn't see this coming, you know, and I have to say I was with you, very surprised that she actually went to Kuwait. I was surprised. Yeah. I didn't think that would happen. But, you know, my thoughts on all of this are, you know, all of a sudden now that she's a modest woman. Okay. She almost demands respect, or she wants people to take her seriously and wants everybody to, like, respect her newfound lifestyle and everything. And I completely find it ridiculous, and I completely find it very difficult to do in particular because of the last year of everything that's happening. I'm not even saying prior to last year, you know. Yeah. I'm saying in light of everything that's happened to lead up to this point. I mean, you know, you can't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. She's manipulative. Well, we don't need to rehash all of that.
It's been well documented.
It's been well documented.
By us and others.
But I find it very difficult that, you know, all of a sudden she wants everybody to take her seriously and respect her as this new modest woman and her newfound religion and all that. It's ridiculous. And gets upset whenever they don't. I think she's really, in my opinion, I think she's making a mockery of all of this, you know, wearing the hijab and
like it's a costume.
Like it's a costume. Really, I do. But boy, she did find a way to hide everything, didn't she?
Just the eyes. Just the eyes.
True,
and
right?
Still, the last thing she's showing, fake eyelashes. The only bit of her body she's showing is the most immodest.
They gotta go too. They gotta go too.
Maybe the nose ring.
And then, you know, in the one video she did or whatever, she's like, oh, him and I are so much in love. We're going to be making videos together. We're going to be doing all this stuff together.
He's going to whip me into shape.
I don't know.
That alone is a
now, on that note, you know, I I completely, people can have a change of heart. People can change religions, change lifestyles.
Yeah.
They can live the lifestyle, that reflects whatever they choose. The curious and rather immature thing about this situation is how fast this happened. There was no thought put into this. I mean, we already know that she's a woman that's instantly in love as soon as, well, anybody looks at you.
They text back a smiley face.
Yeah, right. But, how fast it happened. But, who am I? I'm sure she did all the research on Middle East customs and what it's like to be married to a person of that lifestyle.
And I'm sure she's contacting other people of Muslim faith to see how they
exactly,
they live.
Because she's in this full force. She wants to do this. Well, if you're in this 100%, you need to know everything about that. This is a mockery what she's doing. It's a shame, really.
It's like wearing around a yarmulke.
Right.
I'm not Jewish. I just appreciate Jewish culture. Oh, and I happen to be trying to bet a Jewish guy.
It's not.
That helps too.
It's just not cool. And but to each their own. Like I said, who am I? These are just my opinions. She can do whatever the hell she wants to do. But I think it'll be very interesting to see how this all turns out.
Falls apart.
And we're here for it. And on that note, I'm just trying to decide what my part of Coffee Talk is going to be for the future. I've done, my little commentaries from outside, basically. Yeah. And I've done little sections where I commented predominantly on her drug and alcohol use. And then most recently I did little Twitter updates things. So I'm still trying to think of what to do. I guess I'll be involved in some way. I mean, this is really your baby. This is his baby.
I know, but you're like the cherry on
top. Well, I could be that cherry.
Plus your perceptions are a little more forthright.
Yeah.
With forthright.
Oh yeah.
With you should hear when the camera's off. You should hear.
We could do Mark uncensored in Coffee Talk.
I'll video you and then leak it.
And leak it out. But yeah, so I don't know if you have any suggestions or anything you want me to do or don't want me to do, let me know in the comments because we'll see. Starting next week, we'll see, what it is. I have no problem being, off camera and just like commenting every once in a while.
Every picture, every screen fade is 100% of the editing, aside from the selfie I took for the thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already involved in that.
He's involved behind the scenes.
I do the editing,
But
so
your perspective is welcome. So I'll be curious to see what people think.
Okay,
maybe a good fit, and then whatever we decide based on that too.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. It's nice to see everybody. It's good to be back too. All right. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So, where do we go from here?
Who the hell knows?
Who knows? And frankly, I don't want to say who cares because I made a half-hour video about it. So frankly, I care probably a little. But it's going to blow up in her face. It always does. And it'll be somebody else's fault. His fault, his mother, immigration, his brother. It's going to be everybody's fault. And the fact that she took very, very little in the way of knowledge with her could mean very little in the way of caution.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Yeah, I have concerns for her that will probably maybe be totally, thinking a little too hard about it, maybe pushing a little too hard, maybe trying to read too much into it to give her a warning that she wouldn't be safe. She very well may be. She might be in a good spot. She's at a resort. She's probably fine. And I don't know what other folks who are walking around think of her exactly. That'd be curious. But, she's a wealthy woman. She's better looking than 90% of us, so she can buy any man she wants from across the world. Nothing says desirable like that. So thank you all for joining us. We will catch up next week. Thank you for sitting in on our first Coffee Talk after a while. Might be a little rusty, but we're gonna move forward. And please do share your ideas for Mark about what part you'd like to have him play. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, send a friend request. Instagram, SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email and contact info is below, P.O. Box, all that crap. Thanks for watching, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We're going live at 6 p.m. Eastern, back to the regular Sunday lives, too. So if you're free, please do drop by. And if you're not, have a great week. And I hope things go well for you this week. Make it a good one, okay?